everyone, and welcome to the Mount Moon Review podcast, where our cats are elongated throughout the neighborhood, just like in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I am your host, the Razgrees, with my co-host, the Blue Duck Gold Duck, bringing to you your ultimate source for Pokemon news, live on Twitch each and every week, and every single week also available on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. Duck, tell me about your week, man. How you been?
It's been a pretty good week. I've been reading a lot of articles.
There's been a lot coming out, especially with the media embargo coming to an end. So that happened the end of last week, and we actually had to. If you follow the YouTube channel at all, you'll see that we did have some information come out. We actually did a supplemental video because it was just breaking news, and it was something Duck actually took notice of that no one else had reported on yet. So we felt we needed to scoop the neighborhood, if you will, and get that out there. So if you check out our YouTube page, you will find that supplemental video. But we're going to touch on that here in tonight's podcast. We have a lot of information about Sword and Shield that's come out. We got some information that came out about TCG-wise, because we just had Cosmic Eclipse come out this week. Did you have a pre-release at your event?
I have one on Wednesday, and I did not go to any over the weekend.
Yeah, I looked. There is nothing within like 100 miles of where I'm at, unfortunately.
Man, that's a shame, man.
I did see in your group chat people were begging for a second one though. So you're
we didn't have one yet, and they want me to do another one.
Yeah, you might split your numbers out. If you do the second one, I might not tell them until I do it.
Yeah, we sell out of kits every time, so there's no way.
Yeah, it's when I had.
If they want to like save a kit and not open it, then that's on them. But I'm not gonna do anything official.
Yeah, I had when I had my league, we inevitably always had kits left over, and I really wanted to have a second pre-release, but we never really had enough that I could advertise a pre-release. Because I'd be turning people away then. I never really wanted to do that. So, but with the advent of the new rule change where we could have a sanctioned event with only 4 people, we were gonna do that with just our regulars, but it just didn't seem right, so we never did it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, so like I said, we do have a lot of the VGC and TCG news coming out, but I want to start this week with Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely where we should start.
I am going to be very, very delicate in the way I'm going to do this, because I do not want to give any credence and any publicity to this news agency. Do you have a helicopter outside your house, Duck?
Remember that guy that mows his lawn while I stream?
It's like 8:30 at night where you live.
He just drove his truck right through his yard. Right by my window.
It sounds like a bloody Apache.
It's a big truck.
Anyway, so I belong to a bunch of Facebook groups, and I saw a news article that came out. It wasn't even an article. It was a news broadcast, and it was a news agency reporting about how Pokemon girl was murdered while playing Pokemon Go. And we're actually going to be quiet for a minute. I'm actually going to play the audio from this. So everyone...
Well, before we really get into it, I just want to give out my condolences to the friends and loved ones of Kayla Campos. She's the victim in the incident we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. And I do not mean to lessen what happened. My beef is not with anything that this person did. It is with the news agency, and I'm going to go into that as to why here in just
100% how I feel about it too.
In just a moment. So let's take a listen here. We're going to be quiet.
Well, this is Bianchetti Park, a place not known for violence, but what after happened here Friday night? Well, Pokemon Go players, they're reconsidering where and when they play.
It's kind of freaky. That's just crazy.
Pokemon Go players Levi and David, both 12 years old, talking about what happened to one of their fellow gamers. Police say Kayla Campos and her boyfriend were playing near Bianchetti Park on Granite Avenue. Just before midnight, they saw 2 men robbing someone. Investigators say Kayla tried to drive off, but the robbers fired shots at her car. She was hit by one of the shots and crashed into this house. She did not survive. News of Kayla's death quickly spread across the message boards.
It definitely makes me think twice about where and when I'm playing. There's a lot of rough neighborhoods and times you probably shouldn't be out.
Cody Love has been playing the game since it came out. He says other players should learn from what happened to Kayla.
I hope they do. I mean, you just need to be aware of your surroundings. Be safe. Take into account your own safety when you go out and play.
Since learning what happened, Levi and David said their parents are giving them extra advice on staying safe.
She just wanted to be really cautious. Stay around your neighborhood and always carrying something with you that like you could contact your parents with.
All right, so I'm going to cut it off there because I want to make sure that we don't publicize this news agency because, quite frankly, they don't deserve it. So we have a story here. A young woman is in her car. She's at a public park where we start the news article off by saying, this place is not known for violence. And then we say, okay, she witnessed a robbery, attempted to leave, and the people committing the robbery then fired shots into her car. Her car then crashed into a house, and she ultimately did not survive from her wounds. And then the entire news report is then about Pokemon Go. And about it's interviewing children and saying, well, my parents say I need to, stay around my neighborhood. This is a public park. And I'm not going to show the video because I don't want the news agency's name getting out there. But it's a very nice park. Very nice park. And it has Pokemon Go has absolutely nothing to do with the reasoning or the cause that this girl was murdered. None whatsoever. The only reason they are sensationalizing it and saying, hey, Pokemon Go, is so that people will get on there and say, well, Pokemon Go's evil. Because we kept doing that. When the game first came out, we get these incredibly nonsensical stories about people knocking on their door. Can I go in your backyard and catch a Snorlax? It didn't happen, folks. I'm going to take bullcrap that didn't happen for 500, Alex. It never happened. And every time the news says anything with Pokemon, we have these reporters, we're going to call them. I'm going to call them sensationalists, is what I'm going to call them. These sensationalists get on there, and they just start throwing dirt because they know people are going to care that, oh, it's Pokemon. My kids play Pokemon. I should be afraid. The same thing happened when TCG first started coming out. Oh, this is going to ruin our schools. We have to ban Pokemon cards. Then when the Pokemon Red and Blue came out, oh, the children are obsessed with Pokemon. We have to stop this. The cartoon comes out. Oh no, this cartoon's causing seizures. We have to ban this cartoon. Well, we banned an episode and it wasn't even the right one. But so we keep having these sensationalist stories come out, and they keep bashing Pokemon. Pokemon had absolutely nothing to do with this. She could have been playing Ingress. She could have been playing with her chat app. It doesn't matter. She was at a public park, and she was there, and two people who deserved to be snuffed out of existence were robbing someone, saw a witness, and decided they had to kill the witness. Had nothing to do with Pokemon whatsoever. She wasn't doing anything wrong. But we have these news articles coming out, and they're circulating like crazy. I am sure most people have seen it, but I am not going to help perpetuate that by posting any links or the name of the news agency or even where it's at. It's complete and utter bullcrap, and I just wanted to say that in a public forum so other people can hear it. Go ahead, Doug.
I agree with everything you said. I didn't think you did it, bad at all. When I was researching this while writing the outline for the article, I actually saw 2 other deaths that were related to Pokemon Go, and that was one was a 60-year-old guy who was actually trespassing somewhere where he had been told repeatedly not to go. Like he trespassed there all the time.
Yeah,
and I guess the security guard that was telling him to leave got scared he was going to run him over, so he fired at the car. And another one was the guy who just was randomly shot for no reason.
Yeah, but
he was playing Pokemon Go. The thing about the article, though, that that made me mad is that it's framing it around blaming Pokemon Go for her death. and that's completely ridiculous. It's like saying if I'm in a car accident on my way to work, it was because it was work is the cause of my car accident.
No, it was Google Maps because you were using that to get there.
Well, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
Google Maps took you by the place where the explosion happened or the building collapsed. So it must be Google's fault, and we have to shut Google down.
yeah, it's just so it was so annoying to read that headline and then read the article, and it's all just circumstance.
And they talk about the young lady in the first part, like the first few moments. Oh, she was murdered. Let's talk about Pokemon Go. What the? You're bad people. I mean,
Yeah,
seriously.
that's another thing. If this was somebody related to me and this is the news story they wrote, I
Not
would not be satisfied or feel like
yeah.
justice was done for my loved one at
It's
all.
not that we're looking for this car with these individuals who murdered somebody. Let's talk about the fact that the person that was murdered was playing Pokemon Go.
And the article did say she was with her boyfriend. Nothing about her boyfriend. I've read multiple articles covering this since yesterday when you
Yeah.
sent the original one to me. Nobody said anything about her boyfriend. I hope that's just protecting him and not that he's not dead, so it's not worth putting in the article.
But that's what it is.
I know.
That is sensationalist news today. We have these 24-hour news stations that are they have to have something on TV at any given point. So we have to do everything we can because there's 6 different competitors. Excuse me, to keep them looking at our screen as opposed to that screen. So we're just going to make it we don't care about the people. We just care about the people watching. And it just really burns my butt. It really does. And, just full disclosure, folks. Duck and I started this podcast because we both have, affinity for Pokemon. We do. We're grown-ass men, and we like Pokemon. So what? We don't make money off of this. We do this simply out of the joy of making this product. Now, if someone ever sponsors us, great. I'll put the money right back into the podcast. I don't foresee making a living off making a Pokemon podcast. So, this is one of the last bastions of reliable news that you can get is from people that still have a passion for reporting, as opposed to news agencies who make money off of views and clicks. And I really cannot. I can't stand it. I really can't. I mean, some people say I watch CNN or I watch Fox News. I don't watch either one of them because they're both full of crap. That is my advice for the world. Get rid of cable. If you still got a local newspaper, as long as it's written by people that have a passion for it still and it's not leaning one side or the other, get your news from there. Get rid of television and just go to streaming services and enjoy the products you like. That's my advice for the world. Put it in a fortune cookie. I don't care. But that's all I have to say about it, really.
So did you hear about the news embargo being lifted for
I
Pokemon Sword and Shield?
I did hear about the news, the media embargo being lifted for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Maybe we should talk about that and brighten up the mood of this podcast a little bit. So what do you got for me, Duck?
So about Thursday, maybe it was Wednesday. I don't really do much news reading on Wednesdays because that's when I have my league. But sometime last week, since we recorded the last episode, the news or the media embargo has lifted, which meant all the people that got to play the first hour and a half of Sword and Shield got to talk about their experiences.
Buggers, I hate them.
And wow, I read so many of these articles, and I read the Game Informer came in, so I read that whole thing. I feel like I have actually played the first hour and a half of the game myself.
You would.
But I went through and I sorted out all the bullet points. I took anything that's like a story spoiler. I did not include any of that in here, so don't worry about spoilers. It's all just game mechanics.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people like they're even setting up
stuff.
They're setting up filters on their Twitter feeds to filter out anything with the word Sword and Shield or Gigantamax and stuff like. They're filtering all that stuff out because there's people that don't want spoilers. we will not spoil anything related to storylines of that or anything of that nature without telling you first. That is our
Right.
that is our pledge to you.
If you're somebody that wants to go into this and play it without seeing the starter evolutions, without seeing new forms, without knowing anything about any new abilities, wait till after the game comes out to watch all the other episodes of the podcast. I actually know people that told me that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
They're gonna listen to. They're gonna binge listen once
I
everything.
actually had some. I've had this really big rash of people. So we do have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Mount Moon Podcast. But I've had people hitting like on there, and they're sending me messages saying I can't wait to listen, but they don't. They won't listen to the podcast until after the game comes out.
Yep. I have a couple people in my league that say that.
Yeah, so it's funny. It really is. But no, storyline wise, we are not going to spoil anything like that without giving you plenty of warning. But anything evolution wise, anything comes out in trailers and stuff like that, or stuff that comes out of the media pressers, sorry, fair game. But so what do you got?
So, all the reviews are talked about how diverse the early game was. They said, like, not too long in, like first, second, or third route, they had already a team of 6, and they were all different types.
Outstanding.
That is awesome. It reminded me of how I felt when I played X and Y. I played Diamond and Pearl, and then after that, I didn't play anything else. I didn't play Platinum. I didn't play Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black and White 2. I took a hiatus from Pokemon because I was, just growing up and busy doing other things. And then when
you never grew out of Pokemon, man. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, but I just wasn't, I didn't have time to play games the way I did. I was, graduating high school and all that.
You don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing.
But it reminded me of X and Y. Like, I remember playing X and Y. I didn't even have a gym badge yet, and I had already, my starter, plethora of bug and flying types in the forest. Riolo, or whatever Lucario's first form is available before the first gym. After in the last game I played, I had to go on this 3-hour quest to get an egg for it. Like, I was blown away by the diversity of Pokemon that you could catch, and this sounds like it's going to be, similar to that.
Okay. So I was looking through your outline, and oh my lord, you wrote 3 pages of notes. It's insane.
This is the longest outline I've written for the podcast yet.
All right, we'll dive right into it, man. Let's just run down the list.
Next thing is, this is for all you shiny hunters out there. You can save while you're standing in front of the starters. So you could save, load up your game, press A. It's not a shiny. Reset.
No kidding.
Look into it. Yep. And then when you see if it's a shiny or not, you don't see them standing there. Like in the overworld, you don't see if it's shiny or not. But when you pick it and you nickname it, then you can see, like, the screen comes up. Do you want to nickname your Sobble? And the shiny sprite of Sobble will be on the screen.
Okay, that's interesting. Now here's the question of the day. So if you're a shiny hunter and you get the game day 1, are you going to sit there and do that reset process for 5 or 6 hours until you get your shiny? Or are you going to play through the game, then go back and try to get your shinies?
Some people do it. I personally, if I was going to try for shiny starters, I'd just play through the game and breed for a shiny starter. But some people do that. And so this is the king of shinies actually put this information out. In Sun and Moon, because you had to watch a cutscene before you could save, you could only check for your starter being a shiny once every 3 minutes.
Oh, my lord.
Watch the cutscene, pick the Pokemon. I think you had to do a battle.
Oh my god.
A rival battle, and it was once every 3 minutes. With Sword and Shield, the way it's set up, you can do it 2 times every minute.
Okay. Well, still,
so it's literally 6 times faster.
I still think it's insanity, but I get it. Mm-hmm.
Well, right. I mean, the A Drive is the king of shinies. He's the one who put that info out. He did get a shiny Rowlet before he started playing Ultra Sun and Moon.
Okay.
Yep. The this is huge. You can skip the catching tutorial.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot less hand-holding in this one. They finally, from everything I've been seeing, they have finally got through their skulls that, hey, people that are playing this game, they've probably played Pokemon before.
Yep.
Because I keep telling people that they're complaining, like, oh, the graphics aren't as good as they could be, or, oh, the National Dex isn't. You're still going to buy it. You know you're going to buy it. You know you're going to play it. Shut up.
But yeah, skipping the catching tutorial is something I've wanted for a long time. I hate how I can already catch Pokemon, and then I have a team of 3, and this guy's teaching me how to catch a Pokemon. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, they finally they said that you're jumping into the game pretty bloody quick in this one. So that is a huge improvement. And I'm glad to see it. I'm glad they finally made that step, and they finally are acknowledging the player base isn't people that are just picking the game up for the first time.
TMs are still multi-use, as they have been for the last couple generations.
Outstanding.
Yep, that's. I mean, it's not like I doubted they would be in there, but that was confirmed. Now this is a little section about everything that I deciphered about the wild area,
which looks amazing.
Yes, it does. And the size of the wild area, they said, is compared to like 2 regions of the Breath of the Wild map.
I haven't played Breath of the Wild, but my understanding is it is one of the biggest landscapes that we've ever really seen. So
yeah, it's pretty big. I played it but did not complete it. So this is another huge thing that I never would have dreamed would be in a Pokemon game. You can adjust the camera angle while you're in the wild area. It's not fixed to a certain point of your trainer.
This is the first time that we've had two joysticks, so it makes
true.
sense.
Yeah, no, like that does make perfect sense. And I think that this will lead to an entire game having adjustable camera angles in the future. This is just them figuring out how it works.
No, I get it, and you're probably absolutely right. You're probably going to see a lot more of the free cam that will be able to manipulate, like with every other game on the market right now. I mean, but this is the first time that we're seeing a mainline Pokemon game that has, two control sticks. So that makes perfect sense.
I remember being excited in X and Y when I found out that I could move diagonally. Like, that was insane. So the adjustable camera is like light years ahead of whatever I ever imagined.
Well, you're a simple man with simple needs.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got an adjustable camera, which is awesome. What else we got here?
There are rare Pokemon in the wild area and it's not that it's a rare Pokemon, it's a rare occurrence that could apply to any Pokemon, where it has this like yellowish glow around it. And
what does this yellow glow mean, you ask?
It's a special thing. It's rare enough that only one person in the article talked about it, or the articles talked about it, and they said they saw 2 during their demo. Now the demo was an hour and a half. They had an hour and a half timer they could play as far as they could get. I don't know how long this guy spent in the wild area, but he said he saw 2 in his time in the wild area. But these Pokemon can have egg moves, hidden ability, and have a better chance for higher IVs.
Oh.
So this is similar to X and Y. When you did horde battles, you could get all that stuff.
Well, it just means you could be a little bit more picky. You don't have to catch every single thing you see and hope that it's what you need.
Right.
Makes a lot of sense.
And then also it was compared to DexNav in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where you would like use the bottom screen to specifically pick the Pokemon you would find in the grass. As long as you had already caught it before, you could like select it, and then it would show you a patch of grass that had that specific Pokemon in it. And if you catch the same Pokemon, you capture combo the Pokemon over and over again, then it gives you a higher chance of having it be a shiny. The IVs are maxed out, and specific egg moves. So It's kind of like the same as that. So it makes me wonder, do these rare yellow glow Pokemon have the chance to appear shiny?
Don't know. I mean, do we have any reports of we're seeing shinies in the overworld, or is it only once you initiate the encounter?
I did not read anything. I don't think anybody saw any shinies at all during the demos. At least not that I found. I'm sure that would have been like the first thing
Well, I
I
think
saw
it's
when I looked it up.
from my understanding, the version of the game everyone's playing is the finished product. It's not like a demo copy.
Oh, right,
They
yeah.
were just
I
literally like setting a timer in front of them saying, "You got 90 minutes, go." So this is probably the finished product of the game.
right,
So
but nobody saw it, and I think this is how they rolled out their demo. Like, I don't think we're gonna get a playable demo after the last couple games have been completely data mined within
yeah.
hours of being
Well,
available.
and a lot of times too, what happens with the Pokemon games with the demos, they're actually the full game. They're just
Well, yeah, that's the problem.
they're just sectioned off. And if someone, they take the demo, they go in and they find out that little dam they have to take out, and got the full game, and now it's on every site before the street date even hits.
Yep.
So I get it. They're not gonna. And here's the thing. Like I said, I've already said it earlier in this podcast. You're still gonna buy it. You don't need. They don't need a demo. I mean, if they put it out, I'll play it. But
Oh yeah, I would play
I
the
don't
crap
need
out
it.
of a demo.
I don't need it.
I scrub those things. Like, I go in absolutely every little nook and cranny I can possibly go in whenever they release a demo.
I mean, you give me the demo and let it, have connection with Pokemon Bank, and I'll go in there and just start snatching stuff.
Do a demo that lets us all do raid battles together.
Nice, that'd be cool.
That would be awesome.
Okay, so we also have.
So the wild area, you'll be able to collect a special currency called watts, and I think it means wild area tokens,
That
but
makes
I'm not
sense.
sure yet. I don't even know if it's WAT or WATT.
Either way, let's just go
But
with our theory. I like it.
and you get those through doing raid battles. If you just go to a raid, there's raid spaces that aren't even like, there's no raid there, but like a raid could be there. Some way it's symbolized on the map. If you just interact with those, you get the tokens.
So just being out in the wild area essentially and hitting the landmarks, you're going to get the tokens.
Yep.
Okay.
And then they said that the way you pull other players into your game is you can like, you go somewhere and then you ping it and then it brings players in. So there's not constantly players running around. It's probably something where if you want to be like in an open, like anybody can come into my game, then you can select that, or you can invite specific players into your game as well.
That's going to be good, especially with the group of people that we know. If we can get a
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be starting League early just to do some of this stuff.
well, you and I are going to need our own world.
Oh yeah.
maybe we'll open it up to some select subscribers.
We'll do all the raid battles together. The entire wild area is not accessible at the beginning of the game. I don't know exactly what this means, but I'm imagining there'll be like maybe a stream you can't cross until you get the equivalent of surf, or like trees that block your path until you get cut.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty standard for Pokemon. I mean,
Yep, a little Metroidvania kind of stuff. And this is something that people have been wondering about since E3, when they saw the level 26 Machamp run up to the player. The higher level Pokemon, I guess if they're above a certain level, based on some kind of mechanic, they will just bat the Pokeball away. They'll knock it away and you can't catch them.
nah, get out of here with that garbage, kid.
So you're not going to be able to just run through the wild area, find a level 80 Dragonite, catch it, and then steamroll the whole game with the level 80 Dragonite.
But that would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
I dig it.
But they are limiting it.
Right on.
I think overall it's a better experience, but also that you could just give us the choice. Why not?
All right. So let's see.
So
what
that's
else.
it for the wild area. Now it's just the little tidbits I gathered through interviews and the screenshots that I saw. And I thought this was really interesting, and I think it might give us insight on the third legendary.
I am definitely all ears.
One thing to note is that they designed the legendaries way before they named the game Sword and Shield.
Really?
They didn't know what they were going to call the game, but they wanted a shield and a sword wolf as the legendaries, and then they're like,
Well,
hey,
why
why
not?
It was like a last minute decision, like when they finally had to have the game named.
That sounds too incredibly dumb to be fake.
Right? That was from the Game Informer article itself, and so was this. And actually, shout outs to, I think it's a guy called Hoops and Hip Hop, or somebody that reminds me of him. I don't remember specifically, but I remember when they revealed the legendaries as Zacian and Zamazenta. This YouTuber was like, "Huh, those colors or those names remind me of the color cyan and magenta."
Yeah, and that's 100% right from my
That's
understanding.
actually what they're named after. Like, it seemed pretty crazy. But
we are back to colors again.
right. When I grew up, my dad owned his own printing company. So I know a little bit about printing, and cyan and magenta are two of the colors required to create all the colors on the spectrum. The other color is yellow. So I am imagining if they base Zamazenta and Zacian on those colors, then the Tornadus or Eternatus or whatever that name hasn't been confirmed yet, but that leaker said it way back in the day.
Which he's
pretty
been
much
been
confirmed
given,
right about everything.
Yeah.
Right, he hasn't been proven wrong about anything. Everything he said has been showed
Dead
at
on.
one point.
Yep. So we're gonna keep him as the gospel as far as I'm concerned.
I'm also wondering if that has anything to do with Team Yell. If the evil team is called Team Yell because of yellow, and then they got the whole yelling and stuff also ties into it. So it could be not.
Maybe.
It could not be. It could be something like that. Maybe not. But if you think back to X and Y again, lots of throwbacks to X and Y. We got Xerneas and Yveltal, both Pokemon whose designs were based on the letters X and Y. And to complete the chain, we got Zygarde, X, Y, Z. Zygarde is designed after the letter Z. So it's just a trio of legendaries that makes sense there, and then it would make sense here for the third legendary to be yellow.
Pokemon does like to do that stuff. The names of the islands in the Alola region, they're all having to do with was it colors or flowers? I think it's flowers. Of each of the islands in Hawaii. So, I mean, they do this kind of stuff. They've been, like you just said with X and Y, they love doing these kinds of these onomatopoeias and word plays and everything else. So it is probably a lot of credence to what you're saying.
So we'll see when they finally reveal it, if they reveal it. But so maybe it has nothing to do with it. Maybe it has something to do with it. We'll find out.
Maybe it has everything to do with it. We don't know.
But I called it if it's right.
All right, we'll make sure Duck gets the credit on that one.
Next is the thing that we actually made our breaking news video.
Broken news.
Broken news. Yeah.
Broken.
I'm predicting that Gengar and Machamp will get Gigantamax forms because the player character in their bedroom in a bedroom in the game there is a poster of Charizard, who was already confirmed to get Gigantamax, and Machamp and Gengar right next to it.
Yep, and for those of you that are watching live on Twitch or our replay on YouTube, that is on screen now. It's typical. It looks like the very typical bedroom that we start out with in every single Pokemon game, where you wake up and you're like, okay, let's do this, and you go downstairs and there's your single mom and she's standing there, and you're wondering, where's my daddy? And then you go out and you become a homeless vagabond catching animals and shoving them in your bag for the next umpteen hours.
Yep. So I lost the outline.
That's okay. So
okay,
from the bedroom, the next video it's image that we had that popped up, excuse me, was that of what looks like a train station, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the train station you're going to use to get around the region.
So, and then in the station, where we see on the floor in front of the turnstiles, there's like a mosaic of different Pokemon. Now, every Pokemon on there that we can see, because one is obscured, has been confirmed to have a Gigantamax form.
Except
Correct?
for the two.
Well, what do you mean?
Machamp and Gengar are both on there. but Charizard, Pikachu, and Butterfree are on there, and we'll talk about them later in the episode. They got Gigantamax forms confirmed on Wednesday,
Right, and the
leaving
one,
an incomplete set.
yeah. So we know that everything that's on screen is got some kind of connection, or else they wouldn't be on the same mosaic. I mean, let's just face reality. We're finding out that they're getting Gigantamax forms, and then we have a Pokemon that we hadn't even realized was probably going to be there until we see this mosaic. Now, I found out about this picture from one of the worst drawings I've ever seen in my life of a Pokemon, done by Duck. And I am saving that for a rainy day. But
Oh my goodness.
just a quick edit with the old iPhone, and we do get zoomed in, and we can see that it is indeed a Gengar without any question at all. We do have a Gengar, and we're predicting that that is also going to have a Gigantamax form.
Yeah, that's the theory, because all the other Pokemon are connected. They got to be connected somehow, and I'm predicting the Pokemon we can't see is Eevee.
Yeah, and that's a Pokemon has been trying to position themselves to have a secondary mascot for a couple years now, and it's Eevee. It's Eevee. Everybody knows that it's Pokemon is now synonymous with both Pikachu and Eevee. Whenever you see the mascots out, or whenever you see the new logos that come out for the World Championships, it's always Pikachu and Eevee. So we're definitely gonna. Eevee's a big part of every game from going on. You're going to have him in every single game going forward. We've talked about in other episodes about the inclusion of a new evolution, most likely. Kind of hoping that happens, but we'll see. And the one that's obscured, if I had to put money on it, I would say it is Eevee indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's either Eevee or maybe Lapras, which is another one that was confirmed from the leak.
As much as they're trying to push Eevee and the fact that we have a Pikachu on there, I have to put my money on Eevee.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either way.
Yeah. So we got the Gengar. We're probably looking at Gigantamax. That's our prediction, as well as Gigantamax Machamp. And but we did get a bunch of confirmed Gigantamax forms coming out of a new trailer that dropped recently.
Yes, we did.
So which one do you got first on your list there, Ducky?
First on my list is the never mind, I'm not gonna do it. Is Gigantamax Meowth, which is
come on, do it.
Clearly the it's a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube cat.
Yes, it is. Available at Wikipaw.
I had that written down and I moved it, so I had to do it by memory.
Yes, it is. Long cat is long, folks. Gigantamax Meowth is a real thing.
I can't believe they designed it after a meme. This is nuts.
He's a wacky inflatable arm filling tube man. He really is. It's great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to it, but it's hilarious. Long cat is definitely long.
Yeah. So it's designed after a long cat. It's G-Max move. I think every normal type move it knows will be replaced with the move G-Max Gold Rush, which deals damage to the opponent and also increases the money you get after battle, which is similar to Payday.
Right, and if you're actually playing and you need money in the game, Payday is a great move to have.
I think this is a really cool way to reward us. The way you get it is through getting, like, I think it's probably available for the first week or two after the game releases. If you go to mystery gifts, it's kind of like the way they do a pre-release like bonus, but
or they might just give you a code card when you pick the game up too.
Well, they've done this in the past, and it said it was obtained through mystery gifts on the website. If you got X and Y early, you got Torchic with the Blazikenite. If you got Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, you got a shiny Beldum with a Metagrossite. And then Sun and Moon, you got a Munchlax, I believe. Or maybe it was Ultra Sun and Moon. You got a Munchlax with the Snorlax special Z move.
Outstanding. Well, either way, I mean, just getting it's kind of cool, and it's
Well,
not,
right.
you're not
Yeah,
getting like a legendary or something, but you are getting long cat.
yeah, you're not getting a Mew.
Yeah,
$50.
I still have my Mew.
I never got it.
Yeah, I got it. I had to. And the thing about it is, and we're talking about Let's Go. If you got the edition that had the Pokeball Plus, you got Mew. It was in the Pokeball. The problem I had is whenever I went out, I was trying to buy a Switch just so I could particularly play it, and the only edition I could find had the like green and pink Joy Cons. So I was actually able to go to a GameStop, and they said, "Listen, if you just buy a Switch and the game with the Pokeball Plus, we'll put it together as a package and sell it to you as though it was like one of the jobbies they were giving out. They were selling with everything already inside. So I was actually able to get my gray Joy-Con Switch with my Let's Go Eevee and my Pokeball Plus, and I played through the whole game with the Pokeball Plus. Great way to play it, by the way. And I got my Mew. So, but that's what we're talking about on there. Mainline Pokemon games typically haven't done stuff like that. It's always been code cards or being QR codes at special events, or in some cases, the Pokemon Company would have cartridges that had just that Pokemon on there, and they'd just initiate a trade with you.
Yeah, that's. Now they've since we have internet connectivity, it's usually just if they want to give us an event Pokemon, they just ship it to you.
Here you go, dude.
But at Worlds, they did have the event Pokemon. You had to be close to a certain booth to be able to download it.
Yeah, and I left my my 3DS back, or 2DS rather, back in the hotel room, and I didn't take it with me to the event.
Oh, well. Yeah, I forgot my DS at home as well.
Now my youngest son, he is blazing through Ultra Moon right now.
That's awesome. Has he played X and Y?
No.
Oh, don't just because it's old doesn't mean you skip it.
Oh no, because he's like, what am I going to do when I beat the game? I said, I have other ones. I'll let you play them.
Get him X and Y and a Mega Ruby.
I have them. I have them right in my case here somewhere. As soon as he beats Ultra Moon, I'm just going to feed him the next one, let him keep going.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing.
And then I'm going to dump them all into my Pokemon bank and have all the Pokemon. I need to get my bad dad shirt on. Okay, so Long Cat is long. Yep. We get paid.
And Big Chungus is big.
Big Chungus?
Yeah, do you remember that? It was like a PS4 game, but it was Bugs Bunny really fat, and it was called Big Chungus.
I do not know this meme.
Oh, it was a lot of people came into GameStop, like a lot of grandmas came into GameStop asking us if we had it. It was like 2 years ago in Christmas time.
That's funny. But we do have a fat Pokemon on our list, folks. We do.
It is Fat Pikachu.
We get Fatachu.
Pikachu from Kanto region.
Yeah, Fat Chew has returned. It's ridiculous looking.
Yeah, it's literally the design of Pikachu from back in the day with a really long and flashy tail. Yeah,
that's essentially all it is. I mean, he's got like moobs.
his special G-Max attack is Volt Crash, and it does damage plus paralyzes all enemies. Now I don't know if this is a chance, like if it's like a 50-50 to paralyze or if it's 100%, but this is definitely going to mess up the VGC play. Well, even if it's like 1/3 of a chance to paralyze both opponents, this is insane.
So are you saying that you're actually going to be willing to play a Pikachu in your lineup now?
I have played Pikachu in tournaments in the past. There was a tournament back when I was playing in the Pokemon would make their own rule sets and then tell you, like, you just play with the team and then you get a special event for playing them. There was one I did where you had to have a Pikachu as one of your members.
Oh, that's different. So you were forced to do it.
I was forced. Maybe if that's the comes down to winning or losing, then maybe I will. I'm not gonna like it.
But you'll do it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm not sure if it does the 100% or a small chance. It's still pretty good. And another thing to note is that it paralyzed a Mudbray, which is a ground type in the trailer. So normally ground types are not affected. It did not take any damage from the attack. Like there was a Mimikyu and a Mudbray in that scene, and the Mimikyu took damage and got paralyzed. The Mudbray just got paralyzed.
Well, I mean, we're going to see a lot of different changes in a lot of the way the game's played. And typically, so usually around January is when the game switches in the VGC format, correct?
Yeah, I believe it's like late January.
So definitely, we're going to see a lot of things changing. But you're going to have to, if you want to get your points for a Worlds invite, you're going to have to be good at both of them. So you can't give up on your 3DS just yet. But you're going to need to get used to the whole new format with the Switch. So don't give up on one without transitioning into the other at the right time. Is the only advice I can really give to you on that one, folks.
And, the way you get the Pikachu, the Gigantamax one, is to have a save file of Let's Go Pikachu on your Switch. So apparently it'll check and see if you have a save file, and if you do, then I don't know if it's a mystery gift or somebody you can talk to in game that checks it. I'm not sure how that's going to work.
It'll probably be a mystery gift like anything else, but I mean
something like that.
The Switch automatically looks for downloadable content every time you load up a game anyway, so it'll probably just read those saved files as a downloadable content file,
I imagine. And it says obtain this special Pikachu, which is important to note because if only this Pikachu can Gigantamax, it means that it can't get really good egg moves that Pikachu should normally be able to learn.
So that also means that I'm not going to get this one because I have Let's Go Eevee.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to borrow a friend's Let's Go Pikachu and put it in my Switch.
You devil dog. I never even... Unfortunately, where I'm at now, I don't know anybody, let alone somebody that has a copy of Let's Go Pikachu. I'm just going to GameStop. Hey, can I see that for a minute? Let me check and make sure it works.
I mean, I'm sure if you just literally be flat out, be like, hey, can I put this in my game, in my Switch? I'm sure they'll let you.
Especially if I'm buying something else, maybe.
But that's the fact that it's like something that can't be bred. If it's like a specific event Pokemon, that makes it a lot worse than if I'm not sure how it's going to work. We'll talk about it after we talk about all of them, because there's multiple ways to obtain the Pokemon that Gigantamax. This is just one example. So at the end, I have a little thing in the notes to talk about it.
Right on.
The next Pokemon they revealed was Eevee.
Outstanding. Eevee!
It's a regular Eevee with a big fluff, like it's a
mane.
huge Eevee, but the fluff around its collar was like really poofy, like a pillow.
Yeah, it's very, very poofy. It's an exaggerated mane. Everything else looks like it's pretty much the same. So, yeah, but again, you're going to get this particular Pokemon if you have a Let's Go Eevee save file on your Switch.
Yep, and its G-Max move is called G-Max Cuddle and does damage plus infatuates the opponent if they're the opposite gender.
Yes,
which
indeed.
means they have a chance to not attack because they're immobilized by love.
By the power of love.
And the same thing, it says it's a special Eevee.
Yeah,
just like the Pikachu.
Just like the Pikachu.
Next is Butterfree, which is the second one I'm most hyped for.
You mean Mothra?
Yeah, yeah, Mothra. It's basically Butterfree with big, beautiful, bright green wings.
And the body doesn't change much.
Not really.
But
I like it's better than Eevee.
Yeah. Yeah, at least there's a little bit more of a difference. But yeah, so we're getting Gigantamax Butterfree, and it's kind of strange that all the Gigantamax stuff that they released in this particular trailer was all Gen 1. So I think that's kind of interesting.
It's kind of annoying how that's how it always is. Like, the Pokemon that got Megas were mostly Gen 1,
No, we got to play on the nostalgia factor.
It's getting. I haven't been like upset about it for a while, but now you're giving Pokemon that have Mega Evolutions also had special Z moves and also Gigantamax. Now it's like give other Pokemon a chance to shine, please.
Because I'm
And
shiny.
that's even more surprising when we get into the next one.
Yeah.
But first, we got to talk about Butterfree's G-Max Befuddle.
Befuddle.
Yeah, which I think is a great name for a Pokemon.
Oh, I love the word. I always tell people you just look befuddled. I love it.
Bee Fuddle.
Befuddled.
That's a bug Pokemon right there. Perfect. Make it a thing. But it does damage like all the Z moves or all the G-Max moves, and it has the chance to poison, put them to sleep, or paralyze the opponents, which is another completely busted thing for VGC. If you're hitting two opponents and you put them both to sleep,
done.
The move Dark Void, they had to change how the move was worded because Smeargle could learn Dark Void from Darkrai, and then it would just be a Pokemon used in the competitive scene to put both of the opponents to sleep at the same time with like really high accuracy.
Done.
And then they had to make it so that the wording of the attack is only Darkrai can use this attack.
Oh.
Because it was just completely broken.
Now, was that an errata or was that something that came out, like they actually updated the games?
I think I lost you for a second.
You did, but you're all right.
Okay. And the way you get the Gigantamax Butterfree is through raids, the max raids.
So we're getting everything through a different means, which I kind of like. I like it's not like we can just run through the Pokedex doing one particular thing over and over and over again. So I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. And last but not least, certainly not least,
because you didn't realize this was getting a Gigantamax form.
My favorite Pokemon was confirmed to have a Gigantamax form, and that's Charizard.
Yep. Old spotted belly Charizard.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the spots on the belly came from, but he's surrounded by fire.
He's got like fire wings now, is what it looks like.
Yeah, the wings are made of fire. He's got fire coming out of the horns on his head. Oh, man, this is...
He's Charizard Hellboy.
I love this design. It's Endeavor from My Hero.
Okay, you want to go that route, okay.
His G-Max attack is called Wildfire, and it does damage plus the passive ability to... Or it does passive damage for the next 4 turns. So similar to... Basically like they're burnt, but they don't get the attack drop. I think it should burn them. That would make Charizard one of the best...
Now you see, you just got done.
The opponent.
You just got done complaining about things being overpowered, and now you want to overpower Charizard.
I'm just saying, if they're going to overpower Pikachu, they should overpower Charizard.
Fair enough.
And this one's also contained through max raids. So the way they use the wording, the special Pikachu obtain this Charizard through max raids.
Yeah.
Does that mean that only the Charizard you caught in the max raid can Gigantamax and other Charizards can't?
It's possible, but I don't know, because they're usually very, very careful about their wording. So
right, that's what's making me confused. And then we know if you pre-order the double pack of Sword and Shield, you get Dynamax crystals. I typed it wrong in the notes, but you get Dynamax crystals for Larvitar and Jangmo. So what's that mean if you have because we already know that you don't have to, the Pokemon, it isn't equipped a specific item to be able to Dynamax.
Okay, let's clear something up that's been like, I've been trying to explain it and I'm not sure I know it. Maybe you can better than I can. What the heck is the difference between Dynamax and Gigantamax?
So any Pokemon can get super big. But Pokemon that can Gigantamax transform when they get super big.
So they transform into a different form, whereas the first one, Dynamax.
Yeah, Dynamax, any Pokemon can do it.
They just stretch the sprite, basically.
And I'm imagining any Charizard can also Dynamax, but if certain conditions are met, then the Charizard can transform into a different form when it gets bigger.
So
which
this,
is what
this is going back
Gigantamax
to
is.
the Mega Evolutions where some of them
It's
had two
similar
forms.
to a Mega.
Right on.
Yep.
Okay. So we cleared that up. So if anybody was wondering, that's that.
But
Go ahead.
the fact that there's an item called Larvitar Dynamax Crystal. What does it do? How do you do that? Do you need a Larvitar Dynamax Crystal to make all the Larvitars Dynamax?
Be my
Because
guess.
it's not an item. You don't give them an item to make them Dynamax. It's something that happens, and they can still hold an item.
My guess
So
is
you
it's
just
something
have-
you have to have.
If you have it in your bag, then a
Yeah.
Larvitar can Dynamax.
That's be my guess if I had to
So-
put money on it.
That's what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking if you just go through, if you do a Charizard or a Charizard Max raid, then you get the Charizard Gigantamax Crystal, and then any Charizard you have can.
Possibly. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. We'll have to see when more information comes out.
Yeah. So there's also, from my understanding, there's also a promotion going on at GameStop right now. Is that true?
Yes, Europe has had this promotion for a while, and it's we haven't gotten it yet, and they finally revealed within the last couple days that you can go to GameStop, get one of those little QR code cards, and you can get a shiny Lunala and a shiny Solgaleo. These are two of the few Pokemon that have not ever been provided as shinies yet, so there was no way to get them up until now.
So I need to mosey myself over to GameStop and make sure that the workers behind the counter actually have a clue about what this is and see if they'll actually give them to me.
Yep, and I recommend getting a couple codes, like tell them you have kids.
Yeah.
And usually they give like 2 codes per person. The GameStop that I worked at would just be like, here, and give you like 10.
Yeah, like just get them out of our stores. People quit asking us for them.
Pretty much. Because I think it's a 50-50 chance. You could get 2 codes and get Lunala and Solgaleo. Or you could get 2 Lunalas. That's the thing. So
I'll trade
get
with
as
you.
many codes as you can to
I'll trade with you.
See, I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to transfer them.
See, there was a
I'm not
while there
transferring-
where they were there was a promotion this month at GameStop, then next month at Target. This month at GameStop, next month at Target. So it seems like that's dropped off, but hopefully we start seeing more stuff like that come out now with Sword and Shield. That'd be nice.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, so I think that wraps up everything we have for the VGC front.
Do you want to do TCG?
We're right about an hour right now, but let's go ahead and plow through TCG because there's not a whole lot there.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I felt bad. Like, there's been last week was a lot of news, and so was this week for VGC, and TCG didn't really get any chance in the spotlight.
didn't
And
get the
even when I went
love.
and looked, I'm like, there's still no news. So what I did was, we can talk about the pre-release promos, the 4 cards you have a chance of getting when you get your pre-release kit, and some cards that we didn't talk about last time I broke down the sets that were released in Japan.
Okay, so on the screen right now, if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, I do have the Cosmic Eclipse promo cards. Now, typically, you'll get one of these in every Build and Battle box. And it's supposed to be 25% chance on each of them. I don't think that's actually accurate from everything I've ever seen, but that's what they say. So what do we got? Let's break them down real quick here.
So there's Buzzwole, 130 HP basic Pokemon with the ability Beast Boost. It has its attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon for each prize card you have taken. So it's kind of like emulating the Beast Boost ability from the game where it gets a boost to its attack every time it knocks out a Pokemon.
Okay. That's the abilities that come out of some of these are sometimes game breaking. That one doesn't seem like it's all that there. Maybe it might be useful.
No, I don't think any of these really shake up the format too much. Next is Entei. Its main attack is Rally Back, where if your Pokemon was knocked out by your opponent during the last turn, this attack does 90 damage, totaling to 110 damage for 2 energy, fire and a colorless, which is pretty good, but pretty situational as well. And then it has an attack called Fire Main for 100 damage. And
that would be good for a pre-release. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. That'd be good for a pre-release event.
Oh yeah, not bad in pre-release, but anywhere else. It actually might be one colorless. I can't actually see with the image we have on screen right now.
Okay, well, it's like I said, it's not really important. It's not like a major car. It's not anything that's going to change the meta.
Right.
So moving on.
Moving on is Manaphy. I was right about the energy costs, by the way. I went and looked up the actual translations.
I knew you were doing. I could see your screen light up from you changing screens.
Next is Fion. It has one attack for 10 damage, but its ability works a lot like a one-sided escape rope. So once during your turn, before you attack, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may have your opponent switch their active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon. If you do, discard all cards attached to this Pokemon and put it on the bottom of your deck.
I kind of like it.
I like it, but your opponent gets to choose. That's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, it's a situational card, which is why I'm not
like
too heartbroken about the fact that you have to then put it back in your deck as opposed to keeping it on your bench.
Right. No, that's pretty good. It's cool, but I think with all the Jirachi with free retreat and then Mew and Mewtwo decks running Latios GX, which also has free retreat, there's just too much. Or in Pikarom always having free retreat at all times. There's just so much. There's so many reasons that make this card useless because your opponent just puts a free retreater up and then switches back out.
Yeah.
And then in some situations, you don't want to ever make your opponent switch because they're using attacks that make them they can't attack next turn. So if you make them switch, you're clearing all active effects on the Pokemon anyway. So
very situational card.
It does not make a splash in the meta. I don't think.
No, I think you're absolutely right. So then we got Blacephalon.
Yeah, next is Blacephalon, and it's not overpowered. Well, actually, okay, it is kind of overpowered. So it's a Psychic and a Colorless. It's a Psychic type Blacephalon this time because it's a Ghost type.
You mean it's a piece of cake that has a ghost in it?
That's not what it is. It's a firework that has a ghost in it.
Whatever. It's a cake pop, and you know it.
So for a Psychic and a Colorless, you put 4 damage counters on your opponent in any way you like. Pretty, that fits with what Psychic types decks are doing right now. But if your opponent has 3 prizes remaining, put 12 damage counters on your opponent instead. If you can do this twice in a row,
done.
You win the game. That's insane. For 2 energy, 120 damage. Spread out however you want, you could win the game with that attack alone.
Yeah, done. I mean, there's
certain decks that don't survive this.
No, especially the ones that are like trying to avoid running tag teams.
See a Pidgeotto control. See a Frostlass. See a Spiritomb.
So that card might actually make a splash in some ways.
I think that is the card that is most likely to make a splash. I think One Prize Attackers and Malamar will stay pretty strong in the meta.
So we got some key cards coming out of the series as well that you sent me.
Yeah, these aren't like the biggest cards. These are just cards. We already went over a bunch of the cards before, and these are the a few of the ones that I think are gonna change things up, and we haven't talked about it. So that was the criteria.
Okay, so which one you want to go over first?
Let's go over the Jolteon first.
Okay.
I couldn't find the English version, so I literally have to go and get the translations. It has the ability Speed Yell, or this is post translation, so it might be different in English. But each of your Pokemon GX that evolves from EV pays 1 colorless less to use its attacks.
Okay, so I mean,
I'm predicting that they're building up evolutions to be very powerful within the next set or 2.
Yeah, and again, that's Pokemon pushing Eevee as the main character.
Yeah, there was the Vaporeon that has the ability that all evolutions take less damage or something, or you heal damage from all your evolutions. Yeah, so it's called Vital Air. I didn't send you an image of it, but as long as this Pokemon is in play, the maximum HP of your Pokemon that evolved from Eevee, your Pokemon GX that evolved from Eevee, is increased by 60, giving most of the EVGX Pokemon tag team level HP.
Yeah, so that could be a.
I could see a deck that plays 4 basic EV and then 4 EVGX easily, and to take advantage of as many of these abilities as they can.
Right on.
Seems super cool.
What else you got?
Next is Mimikyu.
It's an awesome looking card, by the way.
Yeah, it's one of those claymation ones, and it actually came out like really good. Normally they look dumb, but yeah, this one's really, really good. Its ability is as long as this Pokemon is in play, each GX with damage counters on it has no abilities. Which it's a single prize attacker. It's a baby Pokemon, which means you can run it in a deck that is utilizing Shrine of Punishment, which puts damage counters on all GXs to begin with, and then take away their abilities. Which I think this card is gonna be pretty good at shutting Mewtwo down.
So awesome.
We've seen the card. Mew and Mewtwo tag team has dominated competitions, winning 3 major competitions in a row.
Yeah, Mew Mew is kind of like the powerhouse right now.
Yeah, it is. It's the deck to beat, and it seems similar to Zoroark, where it doesn't matter what you throw into it. The pros are going to be a step ahead, and they're going to be running a better version that stops you from stopping it. So a card like this doesn't necessarily shut it down completely, but it will make people afraid to even play it. So it will affect the best players are still going to play whatever deck they want, even if this card exists. But
they're gonna have a little inkling in the back of their mind about it. So
right, it reminds me of the Giratina that basically said if you play this, Greninja Break loses.
Yeah. So going on to the next card.
Next is not a card that's going to shake up the meta, but it's a cool concept. It's a Gallade with the ability Double Type. As long as this Pokemon in play, it is typing as both Psychic and Fighting, which I really like the dual type cards they made back in Steam Siege era.
Was that the ones that were like diagonally cut different colors? Yeah. Those are kind of neat.
Steam Siege was the first set to do that.
Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot of those, but I liked them.
No, but it was really cool that it hit Pokemon. It hit 2 types. It had the benefits of hitting both types of Pokemon that were weak to it. You could hit Psychic and Fairy weakness with Mega Gardevoir. And then there was also Pokemon that benefited from having more types on the field. So you would play all the dual types and boost that Pokemon's damage because you had like 8 types on the field instead of 4.
Outstanding.
So yeah, it was a really fun and cool concept, and I like that they're bringing dual types back somehow.
Yeah, I mean, just by the wording of that card, it's happening somehow. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Next card.
Next card is, last but not least, totally interesting card. I know it's at the bottom of this list I'm looking at. It's the Counter Stadium to end all Counter Stadiums.
That actually isn't the last card, but...
it's not?
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
So
forgot about that one.
Let's do the
we'll
stadium.
talk about that one.
We'll do the stadium card.
Okay, so it's called Chaotic Swell, and it's when either player plays a new stadium from their hand to discard this stadium, discard the new stadium as well.
Yeah, so basically it's going to take 2 stadium cards to get a new one out.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah. It's going to take a lot of stuff out of play when it comes to the stadium duels that we've been having recently, where everyone's like, no, my stadium, no, my stadium, no, my stadium.
A lot of decks have to feel like they have to play a stadium just so their opponent doesn't get the benefit of their stadium.
Yeah, so this is going to do a lot to hopefully shut that down a little bit and get us out of the rut we're in with the current stadium situation.
Yeah, I really like it if you're running a deck that doesn't need a stadium, or like I play decks that are usually countered by stadiums, like Power Plant counters Mew Mew pretty easily, and Mew Mew's been my deck since it came out, and this would mean my opponent would have to have 2 Power Plants to stop my abilities instead of just 1.
Yeah, because we did recently lose a couple of our other ways to get rid of stadium cards too. So
yeah, we lost our item that did it.
Yeah. Okay, and we got one more card left.
I'm glad we saved this one for last. Because
inadvertently.
We're getting Zoroark 2.
Also known as Silvally.
Yeah, Silvally GX. Its ability is disc reload, and once during your turn, you can draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. This is also similar to the Octillery from a long time ago.
It was in Sun and Moon.
Breakpoint.
No, was it
Breakpoint.
Breakpoint? Oh my God.
I think it was Breakpoint. I'm actually sure it was Breakpoint. I remember the symbol being on the card. It was one of my favorite cards.
Okay.
So it's the same exact ability. Now it's a GX and it has a good attack, so it's a little it's a little bit better than the.
And the art's unique too. It's not the same stuff we're used to.
Yeah. I mean, this whole set is filled with really unique, cool artworks. So for 2 colorless energy, it does 50 damage plus 70 if you played a supporter card that turn, which is, 120, just like Zoroark. And then,
it's Zoroark too.
Right? And its GX attack is if your opponent's active Pokemon is an Ultra Beast, it is knocked out.
Kaboom, yo.
So that's kind of like bringing in the lore of Silvally, which was designed. It was a man-made Pokemon designed after Arceus to destroy to combat the Ultra Beast in the Alola region. So
Fair
pretty
enough.
cool, pretty cool design on a card. I really like it.
And I think that's going to wrap up everything we have for TCG, and I think that's going to wrap us up for the show this week.
Yeah, that's everything I have.
Outstanding. Well, everybody, we do thank everyone that watches us live on Twitch, everyone that subscribes to us, such as Sadar. We have a subscription from there. I did get a piece of fan mail, and I can't really... I can't put any addresses on there, but shout out to Cod King Vegeta for sending me the promos for this month for the netball, since I can't go to a league apparently. So thank you very much for sending those. Appreciate it very much. If you want to check us out on Facebook, you can do so at facebook.com/Mount Moon Podcast. You can also look us up on YouTube. Just look for the Mount Moon Review Podcast. And you can watch us live each and every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 Central, on Twitch at twitch.tv/the_Razgrees01. That is also a channel where I do a lot of streaming, at least I have in the past, with my whole debacle. And if you follow me on Facebook at all, which is the_Razgrees01, you will be able to follow my series of misadventures for the past few weeks in moving across the country. But I am getting right back in. I actually did do some streaming on my Switch earlier today. Did some Sword Art Online stuff. Typically, I do a lot of Pokemon, but I'm trying to expand my horizons before Sword and Shield comes out and just occupies all my time. So you can also look at each of us on Twitter. With me, it's the_Razgrees01. With Duck, it is Blue Duck Gold Duck without the E. And Duck used to be streaming, but he's taking a hiatus. Hopefully now that he's given up the evil cardboard, maybe he's going to pick up something and get his butt back on Twitch. Am I missing anything, Duck?
You're not missing anything, but I do want to answer a question we got in the chat.
Okay, go ahead.
Those watching live. Heroes Creed asked if in Cards Now, if it states Pokemon GX, if it's interchangeable with the term Pokemon V later. Unless something has come out that confirms that, maybe something I missed. I haven't really been following TCG news much. No, it is not interchangeable. In the past, it has not been. No,
that would be like saying that the EX and the GXs were the same. In this case, the GXs and the V or 5, I don't know what it's supposed to be yet. I think they're not going to be the same cards. So you're going to see a whole new series of cards come out. You'll see new ones that come out. Will say, because we did have like a transitional period where some card says Pokemon GX or EX. You'll probably start seeing transitional cards that say V Pokemon or GX, EX, whatever.
And that's kind of a throwback to Bridget from the Black and White sets. It said you can search your deck for 2 non-EX or 3 up to 3 non-EX basic Pokemon, which meant you could search your deck for 3 basic GX Pokemon. It was so busted.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that needed an errata, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, it did not.
All right, with that being said, folks, I think we're going to be done for the week. If you're watching us live on Twitch, please stay with us after the credits, and we'll have a post-show Q&A where we interact with everybody in our chat. Duck, you want to get us out of here?
Yeah, until next time, everybody, remember, If it's too good to be blue, it's probably gold.
Have a good week, everybody.
Just because your card is magic, you think you're safe because you killed my life orb. Baby, do you dare to not flinch? Cause I'm coming at you like a dark pulse. I know you're gonna throw. You're gonna throw a storm. But I got that lucky chance. There's no critical hits.